Okay, so let's build out the fuselage. So your fuselages are in multiple pieces here. And so the way that works is that they notch in like so. So you can build this airplane just as this segment, or you can add the motor stick extension on here, which is what I'm going to do. Make sure if you do this that it is thoroughly glued. Don't do any halfway on this. I mean, this joint is very, very important. Go back over here to your parts sheet and pop out a tail boom. And the tail boom is going to latch in like so. Like that. The main thing is just lay this down flat and glue it in. They're not the same thickness, so there'll be a step there, but that's not really important. And there we go. Now find your piece of 020 wire here, and what we're going to do is we're going to take an end about 3/8 of an inch long there, and bend it to an angle that matches this underneath here. And if you notice, mine does not match. Mine's too steep. Now it matches. And then come down about right here and make another bend back like that. I don't know where I put my wire cutters. They were around here a while ago, so I'm just going to fatigue break this. So now you have this. So what we will now do is we're going to glue this guy in here like so. So I'm going to put glue here. Just like that. Now I'm going to get my spider wire. I'm going to use that to hopefully get some of the glue that's still wet. And what I'm going to do is I'm just wrapping loosely around this guy all the way up to the top. And I'm making a total mess of it too. With some CA. The main thing is you don't want this to be able to pull out from the tail boom. And there we go. Sorry for the background noise. Now grab one of your bearings out of here, and then go to those dihedral gauges, and remember these little parts that I mentioned right here. Snap one of those out, and you will find that the front part here that's all notched sorta is sized so these little guys can fit in there. It just fits flush up at the top like that. Flood some glue in. So you can see the glue fits all around like so. Now, flood more glue on here. Mount this thing to the flat up here on the motor stick. You want to trim the back off because there will be some excess of the wood on the back. And then the main thing is that you want it aligned fore and aft here. And go find your spider wire. Here we go. We're going to do the same thing as before. We're going to wrap around like this so that it can't come loose. You'll now find that this will accept your propeller front end assembly, maybe with a little bit of resistance. Okay, this one with a lot of resistance, because there's some flashing around it. Thinking maybe I got some glue in there or something. There we go. And it's in. You may want to glue that bearing on in there just so that it stays put. And there you go. Completed propeller assembly. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is the top of that motor stick part had this component. And the way it works is it's going to sit on top of your motor stick, and you will take these wing posts, which are in pairs, and you need to pay very close attention to make sure that you get two next to each other, because they are different, as you're about to see. Actually, yeah. So if you notice, one is taller than the other. The taller one always goes in the front, and so it notches on like so. Like that. You want that to be straight up and down. My glue bottle is getting clogged here from being around the CA accelerator. Alright, now we're going to glue in the one on the back. Now we'll squirt accelerator on that. So now we can lower this down onto the motor stick. Just like so. Now, remember, this is the taller one in the front. Grab a wing, slide it in here, and it notches in and lays down against these guys like that. See? So, squirt glue on here. Clogged up again. So annoying. Make sure that's flat down against the front and the back so that the wing is correctly aligned. And there we go. We'll do the same thing. By the way, I should mention, make sure the sharply curved part of the wing goes forward. Just unclog that. How is it still clogged? There we go. Okay. Sharply curved part going forward. And we'll latch this into the top, front, and back. Just like that. And now you notice the wings sit parallel and everything. So it's all good. The wing actually is in its natural position is going to be further back than that. Probably about there. Maybe more. Depends. Take a piece of your flight rudder here, and we'll cut off a piece about yay long, and tie a granny knot around like that. Now we are going to thread this over the propeller. And now, there we go. Now that rubber band holds the wing down on the front. Do the same thing at the back. Now once this airplane is fully assembled, remember the tail is not removable, so you would actually have to, ouch, there we go, thread this one over the front as well with the wing removed. But now your wing is firmly attached, and then if you pop those rubber bands loose, the wing is removable, which we will do for the time being. So the next thing we want to do is get out our rudder. Grab your 020 piano wire again and snap off a piece that is about an inch long. 3/4 of an inch, I should say, would be better. And what you're going to do is you are going to pierce it into the front of this rudder. Take your time doing this, because it pays to get it right. So if you see, I have punched it through, and you can see it sticking out the bottom there on the inside. It's not going to show up real well, but it's there. Now find your aluminum tubing. Get a razor blade that you don't care a whole lot about. I think at this point I can just use this one. And what you're going to do is you are going to roll this back and forth about 1/8 of an inch from the end. 3/16 would be better. And you roll it back and forth until you can break off a piece. It's very, very small. About that big. Like I said, 3/16 of an inch long. And slide that onto this piece of wire, like so. Now, out ahead here, let's take this piece of wire and we're going to bend over a 90-degree bend in it. Like that. Take that assembly back off, squirt glue in, and don't get glue up in your piece of aluminum tubing. You're going to slide it in until you've got that much sticking out, like that. Now we're going to do something similar at the back. We're going to break off a piece of wire 3/4 of an inch long. We're going to punch it in exactly the same way in the back of this rudder. And be careful, don't don't punch it into your finger or something like that. Use a straight pin to do a pilot hole, whatever you need to do. Because there are umpteen ways to do this. Leave about that much sticking out. Now, come over here to these part sheets, and you'll see this thing that has all the little bitty holes in it. This is your alignment plate. Your alignment plate is very, very important. Now, there's more than one way to install this. I'm going to install it on the bottom here. So this is the top of your boom. Install it on the bottom like that. You can see I have set this up to where there's one hole, so the holes are sticking out. Let me show you on the bottom. Like that. It's very important you get it lined up correctly. Now you can see it's attached correctly. Now, take your rudder and stick that pin at the back, stick it through there, and come up on this is the left side, where I glue that piece of aluminum tubing to the side of the airplane. And again, be careful to not get glue on the little axle, which is exactly what I have done. Now also, you want to set up that rudder so it's cocked down like that. And I'll explain in just a minute why. That is so that you can easily pop this rudder down and say bring it over here to that notch for a bunch of left rudder, or back over on that notch for a bunch of right rudder. Now come in and slip your wing in place again. And now we're going to install our horizontal stab. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on the front part, that's the curvy part up here. I want that facing forward. And the stab goes on ahead of this tiny little notch here. So like that. Now, line this up using your wing so that the stab is not tilted. And there we go. There is the airplane almost complete. One little finishing touch. I'm going to take another piece of rubber here. I'm going to tie off another one of these little hasty loops here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to disengage my rudder. So I'm going to slide it off to the side. I'm going to slip this rubber band around very carefully so I don't break anything. I slip it on and tie it off. Stick a rudder back in place here. Set up for some left turn. So now you can see how that I'm holding the trailing edge of my stab down. Cut off the excess because it's excess weight. Now there is a completed airplane. So your airplane is built. Let's weigh it. Alright, so I don't know how much this airplane weighs because this is an early prototype, pre-production, whatever you want to call it. And so it may be a little heavy. So I'm waiting for my scale to come online here. Trying so you guys can see it. And our weight is 7.2 grams. So now we need to make the airplane heavier. Stay put this little thing. There we go. 7.8. 7.9. 8.05. Close enough. So find something convenient to attach that to. I'm going to suggest up front, because these airplanes tend to be kind of weird on their stability this year. So a dab of glue, stick that up there. Now you're going to have to reweigh the airplane again in a minute because there is a bit I have left off, which is this propeller, which looks great, is too big because blame Science Olympiad. So the propeller diameter is supposed to be no more than 8 centimeters. So get a very sharp pin. The Sharpie is not going to do, so I'll be right back and I'll get a nice sharp pin. what we're going to do is we're going to measure out 30 centimeters here. This ruler of mine, the markings are getting worn off from extensive usage. Why did I say 30 centimeters? Alright, so I'm starting at 100 centimeters and I'm going to measure out to 140. 100 millimeters, there we go. So that's half of 80. So 40 centimeters there. We'll come around to the other side. Again, 40 centimeters. Okay, now that we have marked this, take a pair of scissors here and cut straight across like that. Now round off on the front and on the back. Do the same thing over here, cutting straight across based on that spar. Like that. And there you go. Now obviously you will want to check the weight of the airplane again, because I did remove some weight, so it needs certainly another smidge of clay up front. By now it's certainly overweight again. Now take your plastic O-ring tubing and slice a piece off the end of it with a fresh razor blade. So you get a piece that looks kind of like that. Now that one's going to be too thick. It's not going to fit on our... Actually no, that one does fit alright. Although the square corner on the propeller shaft is not letting me fit that on all the way. So what I'll do is come in here and lick the corner off of that prop shaft right there. And now it fits on just fine. Next, get out your rubber and make a piece of rubber that is a little longer than your hook-to-hook distance here. Snip it to size and slide the O-rings onto it. Take a dab of silicone-based lubricant here. Put that on one of the tails here of this rubber motor. Tie this guy off. Tie a knot on the end. Put a tiny dab of CA on there. Drop the rest of my O-ring tubing. Now we will smear some lubricant all over this rubber motor, and then we'll be ready to start flying the airplane a little bit. And there we we go. Check your CG. It's balancing right there, which is a good place to start. Hi, I'm Josh Finn. This is Hope. We are J&H Aerospace.
If you like this video, hit the like button.
Also, how about subscribe to our channel and check out jhaerospace.com for new free flight products and all of the tooling that you'll need to build them.
Thanks for watching.